There comes a moment in every person's life when the biggest obstacle standing between them and the life they want is not their circumstances, not their past, not other people. It is their own mind. Overthinking is silent, invisible, and incredibly powerful. It steals your peace, drains your energy, and keeps you stuck in the same place while life moves forward without you. Think about how many opportunities you have missed simply because you thought too much before acting. How many nights have you lost sleep, replaying conversations, worrying about the future, or regretting the past? Overthinking convinces you that you are being careful, that you are protecting yourself, but in reality, you are holding yourself back from winning. The truth is, winners do not have quieter minds than everyone else. They have trained their minds to focus on what matters. And the beautiful part is this: your mind can be trained too. You are not born an overthinker. You became one through habit, and what is learned can be unlearned. Right now, at this very moment, you have the power to change the way you think. But first, you must understand something critical. Overthinking is not intelligence. Many people secretly believe that thinking more makes them smarter or more prepared. But overthinking is simply fear in disguise. It is the fear of making the wrong decision, the fear of being judged, the fear of failure, and sometimes even the fear of success. Your brain is designed to keep you safe, not successful. Safety means staying inside the comfort zone, repeating familiar patterns, and avoiding risk. Success, on the other hand, requires uncertainty, courage, and action. This is why your brain starts creating endless what-if scenarios whenever you are about to step into growth. What if I fail? What if people laugh? What if I am not good enough? But here is a question you must ask yourself. What if you succeed? What if the life you are dreaming about is waiting on the other side of one brave decision? The problem with overthinking is that it traps you in analysis paralysis. You wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect version of yourself. But perfection does not exist. The people you admire, the people winning in life, are not perfect thinkers. They are decisive actors. They understand that clarity comes from action, not thought. Imagine standing at the edge of a cold swimming pool. The longer you stand there thinking about how cold it will be, the harder it becomes to jump. But the moment you jump, your body adjusts. Life works the same way. Action eliminates the fear that thinking creates. One of the most dangerous habits of overthinkers is living in the past or the future, but never in the present. Your mind replays old mistakes again and again, convincing you that those moments define you. Let me remind you, your past is a lesson, not a life sentence. Every successful person you know has made mistakes, faced embarrassment, and experienced failure. What separates them from the rest is simple. They refuse to stay mentally trapped in moments they could not change. At the same time, overthinking pushes you into a future that does not even exist yet. You start worrying about problems that may never happen. Statistics show that most of the things people worry about never actually occur. Yet the stress feels real, the anxiety feels real, and the exhaustion feels real. You cannot win in life if your mind is constantly fighting battles that are not even real. Training your mind begins with awareness. Start noticing when you are overthinking. Do not judge yourself for it. Just notice it. Awareness breaks the automatic pattern. The next step is understanding that thoughts are not facts. Just because your mind says something does not mean it is true. Your brain can lie to you in very convincing ways. It can tell you that you are not ready, not talented, not confident enough. But remember this. Confidence is not something you wait for. It is something you build through action. Nobody feels ready the first time they try something big. The speaker giving a powerful presentation once had shaking hands. The athlete winning medals once doubted their strength. The entrepreneur running a successful company once questioned their idea. Courage always comes after the decision, not before it. Another powerful shift you must make is learning learning to trust yourself. Overthinkers often seek endless opinions because they are afraid of making the wrong choice. While guidance is valuable, constantly asking everyone what you should do weakens your self-trust. At some point, you must listen to your own inner voice. You have survived every difficult day of your life so far. That is proof that you are far more capable than your fears suggest. Understand this clearly. Indecision is more dangerous than making a wrong decision. A wrong decision teaches you something. Indecision keeps you frozen. Life rewards movement. Even a small step forward builds momentum. Think of your mind like a muscle. If you constantly allow negative thoughts to dominate, you are strengthening the very patterns that hold you back. But when you challenge those thoughts and redirect your focus, you begin strengthening resilience, clarity, and confidence. One practical way to stop overthinking is to create a bias toward action. Give yourself less time to debate and more time to do. If a decision will not matter 5 years from now, do not spend 5 days worrying about it. Train yourself to act within a reasonable time frame. You will be amazed at how freeing it feels. Also, limit the amount of information you consume. We live in a world where endless advice is available at our fingertips, but too much information creates confusion. At some point, you must stop researching and start living. Remember, you do not need to know every step of the staircase. You only need to see the next one. Overthinking also thrives when your life lacks direction. When you have clear goals, your decisions become easier because you can ask a simple question. Does this move me closer to where I want to go? Purpose silences a lot of mental noise. So take time to define what winning actually means to you. Not what society says, not what others expect, what you truly want. Maybe winning means financial freedom. Maybe it means peace of mind. Maybe it means making your family proud or becoming the best version of yourself. Once your target is clear, your mind stops wandering as much. Another truth you must accept is that you will never control everything. Overthinkers crave certainty, but certainty is an illusion. The strongest people are not those who eliminate uncertainty. They are the ones who become comfortable with it. They understand that growth always feels uncomfortable at first. Instead of asking, what if everything goes wrong? Start asking, will I regret not trying? Because regret is far heavier than failure. Failure is temporary. Regret can last a lifetime. And here is something powerful you need to remember. Your mind listens to the way you speak to yourself. If you constantly tell yourself that you are stuck, confused, or incapable, your brain will look for evidence to support that story. But if you begin telling yourself, I figure things out, I adapt, I grow, I win, your brain starts searching for ways to make that identity real. Your identity shapes your actions, and your actions shape your future. So, decide today that you are no longer an overthinker. You are a person who takes intelligent action. You are someone who moves forward even when things are uncertain. You are someone who refuses to let fear make decisions for you. The moment you shift this identity, everything begins to change. Everything begins to change because the greatest transformation in your life will never come from outside circumstances. It will come from mastering what happens inside your mind. Understand this clearly. The mind that overthinks is the same mind that can create greatness. The difference is discipline. When you stop letting every random thought control your emotions, you begin stepping into personal power. Most people believe that mental strength is something you are either born with or not, but that is simply not true. Mental strength is built through daily choices. Every time you choose action over hesitation, courage over comfort, and faith over fear, you are rewiring your brain for success. Think about a pilot flying through heavy turbulence. The plane shakes, alarms may sound, visibility may drop, but the pilot does not panic because they trust their training. Your goal is to train your mind so well that when life becomes uncertain, you do not spiral into overthinking. You stay steady and move forward anyway. One of the fastest ways to weaken overthinking is to stop attaching your worth to outcomes. Many people overthink because they believe every decision defines their value as a person. It does not. Winning and losing are both part of the same journey. If you succeed, you gain confidence. If you fail, you gain wisdom. Either way, you grow. The only real loss is refusing to try. Remind yourself that you are allowed to be a beginner. You are allowed to learn as you go. Nobody starts as a master. Even the strongest oak tree was once a small seed that pushed through the dirt without knowing what storms it would face. Another powerful habit you must develop is controlling your focus. Where focus goes, energy flows. Overthinkers often focus on what is wrong instead of what is possible. They replay problems instead of visualizing solutions. But the people who win train their minds to search for opportunity even in difficulty. When something goes wrong, instead of asking, "Why does this always happen to me?" ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" That single shift moves you from a victim mindset to a growth mindset. And remember, your brain believes what you repeatedly tell it. Feed it possibility, not limitation. Feed it courage, not fear. There is also something incredibly important you must stop doing. Stop assuming the worst before anything even happens. Overthinking has a way of turning small uncertainties into massive disasters inside your imagination. You convince yourself that one mistake will ruin everything, that one rejection means you are not good enough, that one delay means you will never succeed. But life is far more flexible than your fears suggest. People recover, plans change, new doors open. Often the opportunity meant for you is bigger than the one that closed. Trust that. Another strategy to train your mind is setting mental boundaries. Not every thought deserves your attention. Imagine if you treated your thoughts like visitors at the door of your house. Would you invite every stranger inside? Of course not. Yet many people allow every negative thought to enter their mind and stay there rent-free. The next time a thought says, "You cannot do this," pause and challenge it. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me or holding me back? If it is holding you back, let it pass. You do not have to fight every thought. Sometimes the strongest response is simply not engaging with it. Overthinking also decreases dramatically when you become a person of action-driven routines. Structure creates mental clarity. When you wake up with intention, move your body, prioritize your goals, and manage your time wisely, your brain has less space to wander into unnecessary worry. Discipline is not about restriction. It is about freedom. The freedom that comes from knowing you are in control of your direction. And let's talk about something many overthinkers struggle with: the need for approval. If you are constantly worried about what others think, your mind will never rest. Here is a liberating truth. People are far more focused on their own lives than on judging yours. And even if someone does judge you, their opinion does not determine your destiny. You cannot live a powerful life while trying to fit into everyone else's expectations. At some point, you must give yourself permission to be misunderstood. Greatness often looks strange to average minds. Do not shrink your dreams to make others comfortable. Another mindset shift that separates winners from overthinkers is their relationship with fear. Winners do not wait for fear to disappear. They move forward despite it. Fear is not a stop sign. It is often a signal that you are stepping into growth. Think about the first time you learned to ride a bike, speak in public, start a new job, or take on any challenge. Your heart raced, your palms sweated, and your mind probably told you to avoid it. But once you did it, you realized you were stronger than you thought. That is the pattern of growth for the rest of your life. Do not negotiate with the voice that tells you to stay small. Instead, listen to the quieter voice that reminds you of who you can become. It is also essential to understand that progress is built on imperfect action. If you wait until everything feels certain, you will be waiting forever. The most successful individuals make decisions with limited information all the time. They adjust along the way. They treat life like a moving vehicle, not a parked one. You steer more easily when you are in motion. So promise yourself this: you will no longer let the desire for perfection sabotage your potential. Done is better than perfect. Movement is better than hesitation. Growth is better than comfort. And while you are training your mind to win, do not forget the importance of self-compassion. Speak to yourself with the same kindness you would offer a close friend. You are human. You will have moments of doubt. You will have days when your mind feels noisy again. That does not mean you failed. It means you are practicing. Every strong mind was built through repetition. Be patient with your progress, but ruthless with your excuses. Hold the vision of the person you are becoming. Picture that version of you. Calm under pressure, decisive in action, focused on goals, unshaken by temporary setbacks. That person is not a fantasy. That person is your future self calling you forward. And here is something you must never forget. Your life is shaped by the decisions you make in moments of uncertainty. Anyone can move forward when the path is clear. Champions move forward when it is not. So the next time your mind starts spiraling into endless loops of doubt, ground yourself in this truth. You do not need to have everything figured out to take the next step. Just take it, then take another. Momentum will meet you on the way. One day you will look back and realize that the thoughts that once controlled you no longer have power over you. You will notice how much energy you have now, that it is no longer being wasted on imaginary battles. You will see opportunities faster. You will trust yourself deeper. And most importantly, you will understand that winning is not about never feeling fear or uncertainty. It is about refusing to let them decide your future. From this moment forward, make a quiet but powerful decision. You are training your mind for victory. You are done living in hesitation. You are done shrinking your potential. The world belongs to those who act, those who adapt, and those who believe they can grow beyond who they were yesterday. So breathe. Clear the mental noise, focus on what truly matters, and move. Your future is not waiting for you to overthink it. It is waiting for you to step into it. Step into it with courage, because the moment you stop overthinking is the moment your real life begins. Understand something powerful. Clarity does not come from thinking more. It comes from doing more. So many people sit on the sidelines of their own lives, analyzing every possibility, calculating every risk, waiting for the perfect sign. But the perfect sign rarely comes. Action creates clarity. Movement creates confidence. When you start moving, even if the step is small, your brain gathers evidence that you are capable, and that evidence slowly replaces doubt. Overthinking survives in stillness but weakens in motion. That is why some of the happiest and most successful people you see are not necessarily the smartest. They are simply the ones who decided to act despite uncertainty. You must train yourself to become comfortable with discomfort, because growth and comfort cannot coexist. If you always choose what feels safe, your world will remain small. But the second you lean into challenges, your identity expands. Suddenly, the things that once intimidated you begin to feel normal. This is how confidence is built, not by waiting, but by facing. And remember, your brain is always watching what you do. Every brave action sends a message. I can handle more than I thought. Another truth you must accept is that your past does not get to control your future unless you allow it. Many people overthink because they are mentally living in yesterday, replaying mistakes, reliving embarrassment, reopening wounds that should have been left behind. But you are not the same person you were back then. You have learned, you have matured, you have survived things you once believed you could not survive. Give yourself credit for that resilience. The strongest version of you is not the one who never fell. It is the one who kept standing back up. Let the past be a lesson, not a life sentence. Shift your attention to what you can build starting now. It is also important that you stop measuring your timeline against everyone else's. Comparison is fuel for overthinking. When you constantly look at how fast someone else is moving, how successful they appear, or how far ahead they seem, you create unnecessary pressure inside your mind. But life is not a race with a universal clock. Some people bloom early, others bloom later. What matters is that you keep growing. A delayed path does not mean a denied destiny. Stay focused on your lane. Water your own garden. Trust that consistent effort compounds in ways you cannot immediately see. One day, the results will speak louder than your doubts ever did. And while you are building this stronger mindset, protect your mental environment fiercely. Be mindful of what you consume, the conversations you entertain, the content you watch, the people you surround yourself with. Negativity is contagious, but so is ambition. If you spend your time with those who constantly complain, fear risk, and expect the worst, your thinking will mirror theirs. But when you expose yourself to growth-oriented voices, your perspective lifts. Choose environments that challenge you to become better, not ones that tempt you to stay the same. Another practice that will transform your relationship with overthinking is gratitude. It may sound simple, but it is incredibly powerful. Overthinking pulls your mind toward what is missing. Gratitude anchors it in what is present. Each day, remind yourself of what is already working in your life, your strengths, your opportunities, the progress you have made, even if it feels small. Gratitude shifts your brain out of scarcity and into abundance. And a mind that sees abundance is far less likely to spiral into fear. At the same time, do not confuse patience with passivity. Patience means trusting the process while continuing to move forward. Passivity means waiting and hoping something will change without your involvement. Be patient, but stay active in your pursuit. The future is shaped by those who participate in it. There will be moments when your mind tries to drag you back into old habits, moments when doubt whispers louder than belief. When that happens, ground yourself in this question. What would the strongest version of me do right now? Then do that, even if your voice shakes, even if your hands tremble. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision that something else matters more. And what matters more is the life you are capable of creating. Do not underestimate the power of consistency either. You do not need giant leaps every day. Small repeated actions can completely redirect your destiny. Think of a plane leaving Los Angeles headed for New York. If the pilot adjusts the course by just a few degrees, the plane ends up in an entirely different city. Your daily habits work the same way. A slight shift in thinking, repeated over months and years, leads you somewhere extraordinary. So focus less on dramatic overnight change and more on steady daily alignment. Become the person who shows up, especially when motivation is low, because motivation is unreliable. Discipline is what carries you across the finish line. As your mental strength grows, you will notice something remarkable. Decisions become easier, not because life suddenly stops being complex, but because you trust yourself more. Self-trust is the antidote to chronic overthinking. When you trust that you will figure things out no matter what happens, you stop fearing every possible outcome. You understand that even if things go wrong, you have the resourcefulness to adapt. And adaptability is a superpower in an unpredictable world. Never forget that the mind is a tool. It is meant to serve you, not imprison you. You get to decide which thoughts deserve attention and which ones deserve silence. This is your internal territory. Guard it wisely. Fill it with visions that stretch you, beliefs that strengthen you, and standards that elevate you. Refuse to let temporary emotions make permanent decisions. Instead, operate from purpose. Ask yourself often, is this thought moving me closer to the life I want or further away? Let that question guide you back whenever your mind begins to wander into unnecessary noise. Also remember that rest is not weakness. Sometimes overthinking intensifies simply because you are mentally exhausted. Give yourself permission to pause, to breathe, to step away from constant stimulation. In stillness, the mind resets. Many breakthroughs arrive not when you are forcing answers, but when you create space for them. Balance effort with recovery so your mind stays sharp and resilient. And as you continue forward, celebrate your progress. Do not wait until you reach some distant milestone to feel proud. Acknowledge the fact that you are becoming more aware, more decisive, more intentional. Growth deserves recognition at every stage. The person you are becoming is built one empowered choice at a time. Imagine your future self looking back at this very moment. The moment you decided that overthinking would no longer dominate your life. That future version of you is stronger, calmer, and more fulfilled. Not because life became easier, but because you became stronger. Hold on to that vision whenever the journey feels challenging. Let it pull you forward. And finally, make this commitment to yourself right now. You will no longer ask fear for permission before chasing what sets your soul on fire. You will not postpone your dreams while waiting for guaranteed outcomes. You will act, learn, adjust, and continue, because winning is not reserved for the fearless. It is earned by those who move forward anyway. So the next time your thoughts begin racing, remember who is in control. Slow your breathing. Focus on the present step. Replace "what if everything goes wrong" with "what if everything works out?" Then move with that belief. Your potential has been waiting patiently for you to quiet the noise long enough to hear it calling. This is your moment to answer. Stop overthinking. Train your mind to win. And once you do, there will be no limit to how far you can go.